Yeah, hi folks. Now, as we all know, our mainstream media in New Zealand is disgusting filth. We saw that last week how they actively incited fascists to cancel Posey Parker's women's event in Albert Park. And of course these deluded fascists like to claim that cancelling somebody is exercising their right to free speech, which is akin to saying shooting someone for giving an opinion is free speech, when it clearly isn't. And now our dirty, filthy media is actively inciting people to cancel Julian Batchelor's Stop Co-Governance Tour. Have a look. Now, this is Pere Huriwai-Seger from Aotearoa Liberation League, who is actively trying to cancel Julian Batchelor's Stop Co-Governance Tour.
Tēnā koutou e hoa mā. Here we are outside the War Memorial Hall in Mount Eden. Doors are opening at 7 o'clock tomorrow, so make sure you get here by 6:30. All instructions regarding entrance into the venue will be given by me from my posse right here, either through this megaphone or through the big sound system that's been donated by PSA. We understand that Julian and his team will have some security on the door, and they have their own criteria around how they're going to discern between a protester and a genuine person. So strategy-wise, for getting as many people through the door as we can, like I said, I'll be here giving out all the instructions you need. So if you're feeling a little bit unsure, a little bit nervous about how things are going to go down on the day, just be listening out for my megaphone. And if you want to go inside, make sure you don't mingle with any obvious protesters like myself.
Now, that incitement to cancel is at the bottom of this New Zealand Herald article targeting Batchelor. Now, the other day, Sean Plunkett organised a debate between Pere Huriwai-Seger and his wife versus Julian Batchelor, and he is part of it.
So, Julian, what have these guys, to your mind, been doing at the meetings that you are legally holding in venues that you have paid for and are holding meetings for the purpose of discussing your views on co-governance? What have these guys, to your mind, been doing to you?
Just what you said, they've been clearly trashing our right to free speech and the people who come to hear us, their right to free speech. So Frederick Douglass, the famous politician, said to suppress free speech is a double wrong. It violates the rights of the hearers as well as the speaker. So Pere and Sumai, you've been trashing the rights of me, citizens of New Zealand who have a democratic right to come and hear what we have to say. You've also, you've trashed the Human Rights Act 1993, which prohibits stopping people from expressing their political opinion, Section 21J. So you're breaking that human rights protocol. So on every level, we see you as an undemocratic free speech organisation.
Julian, are you on speakerphone because you're dropping in and out?
No, I'm not. I'm on my. So I just get off my thing. Hang on a minute. I'll just get on. Don't tread my.
Is
that better?
Yeah, that's way better. Right, hang on, Julian. Yeah, but I'm just going to stop you there. Okay, a response from you, Pere and Suma.
Yeah, so I'd respond to that by saying that actually we're exercising our free speech by protesting.
Yeah, so this is her idea of exercising free speech. No, that is not free speech. That is cancelling free speech.
Protesting is a protected right, and it's ironic that Julian is attacking us for what he's arguing is that we're attacking free speech, when in reality he's attacking our free speech to protest.
But it's his venue, you stupid skank. He makes the rules, not you.
Everything that we've done has been entirely legal, including peacefully protesting. You know, you brought up the Orewa example.
Now here's a bit more about that event.
An AntiCo governance roadshow caused tense scenes in the North Auckland township of Orewa last night.
Yeah, now these media hit pieces against Julian Batchelor are designed to take him down, but in reality they're promoting him. It's very good advertising.
With police having to separate protesters from attendees. The meeting didn't get violent, but comes at a time when the term co-governance is controversial and there are still 42 more events planned. Tia McDougall reports.
Chanting no in the faces of Māori protesters. Supporters of the anti-co-governance roadshow didn't hold back when confronted by those opposing the meeting. The roadshow is organised by this man, Julian Batchelor, who wants to spread his stance on co-governance.
It's illegal. It's based on a fraudulent interpretation of the Treaty of Waitangi.
Exactly. Now, this guy is an excellent speaker, and he's right. Now, if he were a leader of a political party, I'd vote for him.
However, he's often met with protesters. Yesterday's were from local iwi Ngātu Manuhiri and members of the Te Herenga Waka or Orewa marae.
The protesters don't know what a racist is, and they don't know what the Treaty of Waitangi is.
From being there, I could tell that the attendees were fearful and they were worried and they were misinformed.
I didn't expect it to be what it was. There was about 20 to 30 police officers there.
Authorities kept the peace, but insults were still exchanged.
He said,
Who's he?
What was it? Horrible. You're horrible.
Oh, you precious little thing. He called you horrible.
And then he followed up by saying, and you probably stink as well.
Okay.
And you probably stink as well. Maybe he's right.
How would you describe the behaviour of some of your supporters?
Oh, my supporters are fantastic. They were amazing. Sometimes they're a little bit conservative.
But supporters are not enough. Batchelor wants his message known at the Beehive.
I've had political parties talk to me. I'm not prepared to say who they are. I'm trying to get 100,000 people to the Auckland Domain just before the election to send that message to all the political parties.
Sean, well, let's look at the Orewa example. None of the protesters broke the law. The police were acting completely disproportionately in response to the situation. People sending emails to the council? I know that you guys love sending emails for your campaign, so you can't possibly be saying...
Well, hang on, Suma. Also, we had Pere, I've seen online, telling people how to lie and pretend they're supporters of Julian and infiltrate his meetings. That
Yeah, now he's referring to the clip I showed you at the beginning.
doesn't seem very above board, and it doesn't seem like a legitimate way to protest. It seems like subversion.
I'll jump in there. Yeah, well, you know what Julian's doing is he's got members of his crew discerning at the door between...
Yeah, because you are telling people how to lie to get in, Pere.
Sean, because I thought this was going to be a discussion between me and Julian.
Yeah, but you can't just sit there and bullshit, Pere. You've got to give substantive answers that are meaningful.
Sure.
Hang on,
So
can I just...
No,
Hang on. Let Pere finish, then we'll come back to you, Julian.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I've had multiple people message me who wanted to get into the Q&A section of Julian's presentation, and they were fearful for their own security. I mean, if you look at the last presentation that Julian gave in Mata, where a kaumātua was shouted down by Julian, and then he was assaulted, a technical assault from one of Julian's supporters, it's plain to see why our people
would want support from other people to get to that Q&A section so that we can actually question Julian's misinformation.
Yeah, but Pere is not inviting. But Pere, hang on, Pere. But Julian is not inviting people to come on and shout him down or challenge him. He's inviting people to come along and listen to the views of Stop Co-Governance.
Exactly.
And if you go along there with the intent of not listening and perpetrating your own views, Kaumātua or not, Sean, Pere, you are going there with the purpose of disrupting the free speech of Julian Batchelor.
No, if you look at the video of this Kaumātua during the Q&A session, speaking as calmly as you've ever seen anyone speak.
It doesn't matter, Pere. Who took the video? Another person aligned with you, and how did you get the video?
Sean, in that video, he was...
Who took the video, and how did you get hold of the video?
Sorry.
Simple question.
The Kaumātua was speaking...
Who took the video and how did you get hold of the video? Question.
The video was taken by another member at the attendee of that meeting. I'm not sure.
Who was aligned with you?
Is it illegal to take videos?
Yes, says Pere. Okay, no. So what is now emerging is not people turning up organically. This is infiltration of a meeting with someone else there to film it.
Literally, Sean, I'm happy to get this person to speak with you as well. I've never met them in my life. They sent us the video because this Kaumātua was abused by a supporter of Julian, and they were concerned. And then if you look at the comments that have come through on this video, thousands of comments of people being disgusted, seeing this disrespect to this Kaumātua. And that's not the only thing that I want to say in terms of Julian's disrespect to Kaumātua.
Okay, and I'll give you a chance to do that. But righto, I want to go back to Julian for a moment. You will get another chance. Julian, so Suma and Pere would tell us they're just exercising their rights to disrupt your meeting and send people in there to disrupt your meetings. Your response to that?
Oh, look, you know what? This is just spin and BS in huge quantities. I'll tell you what happened. There was somebody who infiltrated. There was somebody who infiltrated that meeting that we got through our gate, as you were, and got in, and they were standing behind the person we took the microphone. Now, let me tell you what happened. We have a Q&A session, and at that Q&A session, I make it very, very clear to people that this is just questions and answers. If you take the microphone and launch into a big speech, we will take the microphone off you because this is my meeting and it's a Q&A time. We don't want to hear a big speech from you. It's for you to ask a question and me to answer it. So I made it clear. If you launch into a speech wanting to talk about something you want to talk about and you get us off topic, we will take the microphone off you. Now, that guy is not a Kaumātua. He was a troublemaker. In the middle of our meeting, he got in. The police arrived. We got him out, and he said, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Pere, let him speak.
Sorry.
Let Julian speak.
Sorry, no, sorry, I was just a little bit shocked. Sorry.
Well, don't be shocked because this is reality. And so what happened was the police arrived and we got the guy out, and he said, "Look, I'm very sorry. I won't do it again." And our bouncers at the door made a mistake. They let him back in. And he got back in, got the microphone, and the person who took that footage was an activist sitting behind him, and she provided that footage to the media for their use. So we were infiltrated in that meeting, and that person who had the microphone taken off him just simply broke the rules of our meeting, and we said you have to give the microphone back. Thank you. And he said no. I want to keep talking.
Hang on, Pere, don't interrupt. I'll give you a chance.
Oh, sorry.
So he wanted to hijack the meeting, and we stopped that because we said, no, this is our meeting. We've paid for it. We have a right to speak, and I have a right to set the rules. And you broke those, so I'm sorry. We've got to take the mic off you. Okay. And it was filmed by an activist sitting behind him.
Okay. Now, Julian, I want to give you the chance. And clearly you guys do not agree on the issue of co-governance. I'm not taking sides in the dispute that you have. You've got different views. You are hiring venues and halls to talk to New Zealanders and say, these are my views. If you got some questions about my views, that's fine. What do you say to those who disagree with your views, who would go along, want to infiltrate your meetings to disrupt them, Julian? What is your message to them, to Sima and Pere today?
Hold up, Sean. Can I respond?
No, you can't. It's a question to Julian. Suma. You'll get your turn.
Okay. If Pere and Suma want to come to our meetings and sit there quietly and not suppress our right to free speech or interrupt our right to free speech, they are welcome to. If they want to come inside and sit down quietly and listen and don't interrupt me or anybody else that's participating in that meeting, then they are welcome to come. Now, we've had to make the meeting.
And if they don't, Julian, if they want to disrupt your meeting and say that we disagree with you, what is your message to them then?
They can come.
Question to
no, Pere. Julian, let Julian answer. I'll come back to you.
I go first.
They are not allowed to suppress the free speech and our right to free speech. They can protest outside. They can write about it. They can write books about it, but they cannot stop people from listening to what we have to say who have come to hear us. That is an infringement of our right to free speech and the people who come to hear us.
Exactly. His venue, his rules. Period. And here's another example of co-governance insanity.
No, my wokee, my Mount Taranaki is one step closer to having the legal status of a person following the preliminary signing of a collective treaty settlement. The same rights have already been given to Te Urewera National Park and the Whanganui River. Māori Affairs correspondent Te Aniwa Huriwai-Seger reports.
Taranaki maunga looming over its people on a momentous day. The Crown returning nearly 160 years after the mountain was confiscated, prompting the relentless fight for its return.
This is about the 200-odd petitions that our tupuna and representatives of the Taranaki Māori Trust Board before us submitted to Parliament constantly.
In 1865, the Crown committed one of the most grievous treaty breaches in this country's history when it confiscated 1.2 million acres of Taranaki land, including the maunga.
A collective treaty settlement initialled today means it will become a legal person, giving it greater protection.
And our maunga will have legal rights and privileges.
Oh, this mountain will have special privileges. Maybe it will get free health insurance, perhaps. Free lunches, perhaps.
And therefore will have standing in particular processes.
That means it can be represented in court and give submissions to a select committee.
Wow, did you hear that, folks? This mountain can use a computer. It can type submissions for select committees.
It's been done twice before. Te Urewera National Park, the first to receive the status in 2014.
It reflects a tūhoi view of Te Urewera as having an identity in its own right.
For us, it affirms our understanding and recognises our maunga as tupuna.
A new co-governance entity, Te Tōpuni Kōkorangi, will represent the maunga's interests.
It's a 50-50 split with 4 representatives appointed by the Crown and 4 representatives appointed by ngā iwi.
A partnership many here hope the public will embrace.
Yeah, one flew over the cuckoo's nest, folks. Now, folks, I apologise for the delay of my second Waikato video. News seems to get in the way. Anyway, folks, I've posted all the relevant links below.